नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा। नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा। नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा। इतिपिसो भगवारहं सम्मा संबुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसदम्म सारथि सत्ता देव मनुष्याणां बुद्धो भगवाति। नमो तस्स सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा। ये च बुद्धा अतीता च ये च बुद्धा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये बुद्धा अहं वन्दामि सब्बदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमङ्गेन वन्देऽहं पादपंसो वरुत्तमं। बुद्धेयो कलितो दोषो बुद्धो कमतु तं मम। बुद्धं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। स्वाकातो भगवता धम्मो संदिटिको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको अपनायको पच्चत्तं वेदितव्यो विन्नुहीति। नमो तस्सनियानिक सदम्मसा। ये च धम्मा अतीता च ये च धम्मा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये धम्मा अहं वन्दामि सब्बदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं धम्मो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमंगेन वन्देऽहं धम्मं च विदुत्तमं। धम्मेयो कलितो दोषो धम्मो कमतु तं मम। धम्मं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संग। न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो। यदिदं चत्तारि पुरिसयुगानि अट्टपुरिसपुद्गला एषा भगवतो सावक संगो। आहुनेयो बाहुनेयो दक्षिणयो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यकेतं लोकस्साति। नमो तस्स अट्ट अर्य पुद्गला महासंगसा। ये च संगा अतीता च ये च संगा अनागता पच्चुपन्ना च ये संगा अहं वन्दामि सब्बदा। नत्ति मे शरणं अन्यं संघो मे शरणं वरं ये तेन सच्चवज्जेन होतु मे जयमङ्गलम्। उत्तमंगेन वन्देऽहं संगं च विदुत्तमं। संगेयो कलितो दोषो संगो कमतु तं मम। संगं यावनिब्बानपर्यन्तं शरणं गच्छामि। विपत्ति पटिवाहाय सब्ब संपत्ति सिद्धिया सब्ब दुःखं विनाशाय सब्ब भयं विनाशाय सब्ब रोगं विनाशाय भवे दीर्घायुकदायक। सब्बलोकं हितत्ताय परित्तं तं वनामहे। समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्र गच्छन्तु देवता। सद्धम्मं मुनिराजस्सा सुनन्तु सग्गमोक्तदं। धम्मश्रवणकालो अयं बदन्तः धम्मश्रवणकालो अयं बदन्तः धम्मश्रवणकालो अयं बदन्तः। नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा संबुद्धस्सा। करणीयमत्थ कुशलेन यन्तं सन्तं पदं अभिसमिच्य सक्को उजूचा सुजूचा सुवचो च समुदु अनतिमानि संतुष्को च सुबरो च अपकिच्चो च सल्लौकवुत्ति संतीन्द्रियो च निपको च अपगब्बो कुलेषु अननुगिद्धो न च क्रुद्धं समाचरे किंचीन विन्यो परेवुपवदेयु। सुखिनो वा केमिनो होन्तु सब्बे सत्ता भवन्तु सुखितट्टा। ये केचिपाणभूतत्ति तसावा तावराव अनवशेष दीघा वा ये महन्ता वा मज्जिमा रस्सकानुकतुला दिट्टा वा ये व अदिट्टा ये च दूरे वसन्ति अविदूरे भूता वा संभवेशी वा सब्बे सत्ता भवन्तु सुखितट्टा। न परोपरं निकुब्बेता न्यातिमन्येत कट्टचिनं कंचि व्यारोसना पटिगसन्यानन्यमन्यस्य दुःखमिचेय माता यतानि यंकुत्तं आयुषा एक पुत्तमनुरक्के। एवं पि सब्बभूतेषु मानसं भावये अपरिमाणं। मत्तं च सब्बलोकस्मिन् मानसं भावये अपरिमाणम्। उद्दंगदोच तिर्यं च असंबादं गवेरं असपत्तं तिट्टं चरं निसिन्नो वा सयानो वा यावतः स विगतमिद्धो Etan sating adipkeya brahmametan viharangidamahu. Dittinchanupagamma silavadasanena sampanno. Kamesu vinaya gedan nalijatu gabbaseyang punaretiti. Dukkapata cha nidukkabhayapata cha nibbhaya sokapata cha nisoka hontu sabbe pipanino. Etena saccavajjena sotino hotu sabbada. Etena saccavajjena hotuno jayamangalam. Etena saccavajjena patuno ratanattayam. Sabbityo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu. Mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi diga bhava. Bhavatu sabbamangalam rakkantu sabbadevata. Sabba buddhanubhavena, sabba dhammanubhavena, sabba sanghanubhavena, tada sotti bhavantu te. Imina punya kamhena mame bala samagamo satan samagamo hotu yava nibbana patya idan me punya kamang asavakkayang vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamucchatu nibbana sampatchayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so today's Dhamma talk, I just thought about discussing about the relation between metta and mitta. Metta and mitta. What is metta? Many of you are aware of this. Metta means loving kindness, and mitta means like mitra. Mitra. So if you understand correctly the qualities of a good friend, how you can become a very good friend, how you can find out a very good friend, these things if you are aware and if you develop those qualities, then automatically your metta will develop, your loving kindness will develop, your universal love will develop, your unconditional love, universal love or loving kindness, whatever you call, that is metta. That feeling of, say, wishing everyone happiness and actually feeling it. May all beings be happy. After all, they are also like me. They should be happy. So that, say, deep-rooted or fixed in the core, that feeling, if it is fixed in the core of your being, then you are a metta person. Then you are a person with loving kindness. And if you try to become a good friend with somebody and develop the qualities of a good friend, automatically this loving kindness keep growing. It will keep developing in your mind. And of course, you can call it as heart or mind, whatever it is. Your feelings, your emotions become more and more pure if you become a true friend. By developing the qualities of a true friend, or even looking for the qualities of a true friend and trying to become a friend to a true friend, a friend to a person who is having the qualities of a true friend. If you keep on working on those things, then automatically your loving kindness will keep expanding, will keep growing, will keep developing. In the sense, what I want to say here is metta and mitta, they are interrelated. If you develop metta, your qualities of becoming a good friend, of noting a good friend, that will develop. And if you keep on working on becoming a good friend, even with one person, if you want to become a good friend, if you wish to become a good friend, you keep working on to become a good friend, then automatically your metta, your loving kindness, so your unconditional, universal love towards all beings, it will keep growing. They are mutually dependent, or rather you can say they influence each other. Your metta, your quality of metta will make you a mitta, a great mitta, a beautiful mitta, a true mitta. Mitta means friend. And if you become a true mitta, a true friend, then automatically your loving kindness will increase. Your quality of loving, your emotion of loving, your feeling of loving kindness will increase. So from that, what is the benefit? In any of these options, in any of these paths, metta to mitta, mitta to metta, in both these say paths, your mind becomes very pure, your mind will develop to a great extent. Even developing the emotions will make you pure, will make you develop into a very matured spiritual being, and it will liberate you to a great extent. As I used to tell you about the 11 benefits of metta meditation. If you thoroughly practice metta, keep developing metta every day, on regular basis, then you can achieve 11 benefits. I used to explain in level 1 about these 11 benefits of metta meditation. And they are very, very powerful benefits. It is good now for your health, for your mental health, for your physical health. It is good now for your interaction, transaction, communication with the people around you, and for the success in your any kind of profession and transaction. You can become successful, you can achieve what you want to achieve with this metta mind. And then a lot of protection you will get from the people, from the divine beings, from the non-humans, from even from the 4 elements like earth, water, fire, air. They also will not disturb the balance in your body. These 4 elements, they only constitute your body, just like the world is constituted by these 4 elements. So the 4 elements of the world will not affect the 4 elements of your body. If you have this beautiful metta in your mind, and developed metta in your mind. So in that way, you have seen the different benefits, how it helps in developing other meditations like concentration, awareness. They're all dependent on the metta mind. If the mind is full of loving kindness, then you develop a lot of concentration, a lot of awareness also. All the 4 components of the mind I used to explain in our right view meditation courses. They're interdependent. If your mind is full of this loving kindness, then other beautiful, wholesome feelings like compassion, karuna, mudita, upekka, slowly they will develop. In addition to the development of these 4 wholesome feelings, your other faculties, other aggregates of the mind, like your awareness aggregate also will develop, your confidence levels will develop, your energy levels will develop, your conviction, your achievement, your focus, your memory, all these things will develop. That is the confidence faculty of the mind. And your discretion, your understanding, your discretion, your knowledge, your analytical mind, that will also develop. In that way, all these 4 faculties of the mind, they're interdependent. If you develop your wholesome feelings by developing this metta, then the remaining faculties of the mind, like your awareness, like your intelligence, like your confidence, these things also will develop. But one should learn these things authoritatively and develop them authoritatively, then automatically it will have an impact on the other faculties of the mind. So many people nowadays, of course not nowadays, that's how the human life is, human world is. Humans are more emotionally strong compared to the intellectuality. They are more emotional than intellectual, the human life, the human beings. So again, in the emotion, if it's a wrong emotion, it is a distorted emotion. Many people, in the name of religion, in the name of faith, people develop a lot of wrong emotions, a lot of distorted emotions. The name of love, the name of faith, a lot of wars in this world. They're waged because of love, because of religion, because of faith only. The so-called faith, so-called religion, so-called God, in the name of God only, so many wars were fought. Lot of violence, lot of destruction happened in the name of God only. That way. So, in the name of love for God, faith for God, in that name only people destroyed, people killed, people indulged in a lot of violence. So you should understand the emotions correctly, thoroughly, practice them authoritatively. In the same way, the other faculties also, if you hook on to one thing, catch hold of one thing, develop it thoroughly, then all other faculties also, they fall in place. They also come to a balance, and then slowly you keep progressing in all aspects of the mind, in all components of the mind. So that because of that reason, I just thought of introducing this metta and mitta. If you want to become a good friend, that friendship is a very, very, say, common phenomena that you can observe in the society. People are looking for a good friend, try to become a good friend, but many times they fail in it. I've seen many people, they won't get even a single friend, single good friend, the entire course of their life. Hmm? Because they don't know how to become a good friend. At the same time, they don't know how to find out a good friend. So, if say to have that knowledge, that understanding, and also to cultivate those qualities of a good friend, so a little understanding about those qualities is very much required. That we will see, and how those qualities of a good friend will influence your emotion, your very, very profound, very, very perfect emotion, that is metta, which in turn will have an impact on the entire body and mind, and also the 11 benefits of metta, how you can derive just by focusing on the qualities of becoming a good friend, or to find out a good friend. You focus on these things, then all other benefits will follow. So because of that reason, I just thought of introducing uh, the friendship, the good friendship. About that, I just wanted to introduce. There are so many suttas, so many discourses given by Buddha in different texts. And there are so many nikayas in different circumstances, different occasions, for different people, for lay people, for monastic people, uh, even for divine people, for animals. So he emphasized the importance of this true friendship, and how to develop true friendship, and how it will have impact on the loving kindness, your overall this your deep rooted emotion, that is loving kindness. How that loving kindness in turn will influence your spiritual growth. These things Buddha has explained in several occasions, in several suttas. You can see this. So that we will see today. So before going into this different mitta suttas, mitta means like friend or friendship. The sutta, the discourses on friendship. We will see what is this metta sutta just for a few minutes, a couple of minutes. So what is this metta sutta that I chanted now? Karaniya metta sutta. It's called Karaniya metta sutta. Karaniya means has to be. Karaniya has to be done. Compulsorily one has to practice this, especially for the householders. It's a must. Where you don't get sufficient time to practice awareness meditations, or insight meditations, or tranquility meditations. But practicing this metta, loving kindness, is very, very crucial, very, very important. It will help you to handle everything of human life, of human, say, existence. It will work on all levels. It will work at the social level, personal level, professional level, in all levels, in all aspects of life. It helps you. So that's just for a couple of minutes, because this has to be explained in detail, and we have learned about this metta to some extent in level 1 and level 2. The other 3 aspects of metta, aspects of these wholesome emotions like karuna, mudita, upeka, also learned a little bit. That will become a beautiful package. But still, we are planning one more workshop for those who have completed level 1, level 2. The workshop only on these 4 wholesome feelings. They are called sublime states of mind, or the Brahma Viharas, the divine abodes of the mind. This metta, karuna, mudita, upeka. That will definitely help the lay people, those who are not completely into awareness meditations or insight meditations or tranquility meditations. Those who are not into, even for them also, metta helps to a great extent. So for the sake of those monastic meditators only, Buddha has given this Karaniya Metta Sutta. Now I will tell that background story also. So in that way, we are planning to have a workshop, maybe some 3-4 days workshop, or some 4-5 hours, about this Brahma Viharas, and that is because I understood the importance of this Brahma Viharas, and the benefits of this, and how some of our serious meditators, after practicing these Brahma Viharas, how they are reaping the benefits. So keeping all those things in the mind, we have planned to have a workshop about these Brahma Viharas. And just as an introduction for that workshop, and also for uh, say, to develop these different qualities of a true friend. Even now also, if you understand these things and you just start working on these things, then you will realize a lot of benefits. You will realize the importance, the greatness, and the value of metta and mitta, the value of a true friend, the value of loving kindness. You will realize, so at least the glimpse, at least a few ideas definitely you will get, and it may motivate you to work on this, and it may motivate you to attend our future programs. Yeah, next week we will be having our L1 course also. So that also our coordinators, they were requesting me to say something about that L1 course, so that you can be motivated to attend those L1 course, and you tell your friends. And our coordinators also, you have to personally, you should talk to the people whom you really like, you really love, really care for. And this is the best gift you can give to them. Personally talk to them, call them, message them, motivate them to attend these classes. Then that will make you a good friend. In Buddhism, there is nothing like one say spiritual master or teacher, an authoritative teacher. Blindly you should follow him. That kind of hierarchy, that kind of approach is not there in Buddha's teachings. Buddha always talks about Kalyana Mitra. He calls himself as a friend, that's it. Kalyana Mitra, one who looks for your welfare, a spiritual friend. In that sense only, he talks about. So I want all the coordinators and also our senior meditators or the meditators who have gone through this L1, L2, L3 or whatever course that you have done. If you want to become a Kalyana Mitra, Kalyana Mitta or Kalyana Mitra, then you should take that responsibility like a father, like a mother, towards all the people. One of my masters used to tell me, you should become a parent of this world. At least you should develop that kind of parenthood, that true friendship. Actually, parents are the best friends. One of the masters used to say, if you don't get the true friend with all the great qualities of a true friend, then you can rely on your parents. If you don't get a spiritual friend, spiritual Kalyana Mitra, you will not get. And other true friends you will not get in the society. Then you can rely on the parents. The parents have the qualities of a true friend. Those qualities we will see now, then you will understand. Yes, the parents definitely have the qualities of a true friend. So just like a parent, you should develop those qualities and you should help people in imparting this knowledge of handling the mind, developing the mind, calming down the mind. Because yesterday also, some people came to me with a lot of, they were very, very intelligent. There were some college students. College means like, say, yeah, around 20 plus. They were still pursuing some courses, engineering, management and all. They were very, very sharp, very intelligent, but that has become too much. They have become over smart, over intelligent, and they could not control their mind, and they are developing a lot of health issues, mental health issues. They are developing that suicidal mentality, they are developing depression, they are developing anxiety. So the best gift you can give, not only to the students, not only to the people, say your relatives, friends, whom you know, for everyone, this is the best gift, because everything arises from the mind. If they know how to handle the mind, how to understand the thought processes and how they simply pressurize you. If you don't learn how to observe them, how to let go them, how to purify them, if you don't know those things, then life will be wasted. However intelligent they may be, however wealthy they may be, however healthy they may be physically, the mind will completely go crazy. That's what I observed. Even yesterday, I met some people. So in that way, of course, show your this Maitri or Metta or this Mitratva towards all the people and motivate them, encourage them, or use all your skillful means to enroll them to the coming course from next week. And all these our coordinators here, Vaishaki, Neela, Rohit, all these things, all our coordinators are working very hard to enroll more and more people. You also support them and see that they get the best gift from you. And that's the way you become a true friend. So now coming to this Karaniya Metta Sutta, how this metta is say cultivated and the benefits of this metta, that's what is explained in this Karaniya Metta Sutta that I chanted now. So what is the background? Why Buddha has to teach this Karaniya Metta Sutta? Whom did he teach? So he taught this to a group of monks, 500 monks. They went to one place in the Himalayas, they say, that sutta, the commentaries, they say. The 500 monks, they went to the Himalayas somewhere, maybe here in Nepal, this Himalayan range. And when they were practicing meditation, some three devas, or the devas who are residing in that area, the Himalayan belt, initially they were happy, the monks have come and they are meditating. But later they realized that these monks may not leave this place. And they felt some kind of insecurity because of this monk, because they say in the scriptures they were having the families were residing in those trees, and it will become some kind of insecurity, some kind of disturbance from the monks. They felt it, they thought like that, and then they thought these monks should be chased away from this place. In that way they thought, they started making some fearful appearances, they tried to intimidate, they tried to threaten these monks. And because of this, the monks could not meditate properly. A few days they could tolerate, and later they realized they could not meditate. Some of them they became sick also. Then they went back to Buddha and they requested what to do now. We could not meditate there in that belt, in that region. We are seeing some horrible appearances which are threatening us with sounds, with appearances. Then Buddha, with his supernormal powers, he could see that they are divine beings. Definitely, they appreciate the meditators, and they should not trouble you. And because of some misunderstanding, this has happened. So, to remove that misunderstanding between two minds, between two individuals, between two communities, between two groups, so Buddha used this metta sutta, this metta chanting as a tool to remove the differences, to remove the misunderstanding. And he taught this metta sutta to this group of 500 monks. And after learning this metta sutta from Buddha, they went back to the same place and they started chanting this before their meditation. Of course, most of the time they started chanting this again and again. And by understanding the beauty of this Metta Sutta and the essence of this Metta Sutta and the intention of this Metta Sutta, the divine beings, they became happy, who were dwelling in that place, the Himalayan belt, and they started supporting these 500 monks. And because of that mutual cooperation between these divine beings and these monks, the monks could become arhants in the span of one retreat, one Rainy retreat. So at the end of the Rainy retreat, that means at the end of, let us say, October, so they became arhats in the span of some 3 months. So in July, the Rainy retreat starts, and at the end of October, it concludes, it ends. So by that time, these 500 monks, they became arhats. So that is the power of this Metta Sutta, Karaniya Metta, that is the power of Metta, loving kindness. So what is there in this loving kindness Sutta? And how these divine beings who are residing in that belt, the Himalayan belt, in those trees, how they become so happy, how they become so cooperative, supportive to the monks, Previously, they were against this very presence of monks in that belt. But once they understood this Metta Sutta, the intention of Metta Sutta, the power of Metta Sutta, the power of loving kindness, then instead of creating problem, instead of troubling these monks, they started cooperating, supporting these monks. So that is the significance of this Metta Sutta. In this background story itself, you can understand the significance. You want to develop a cordial relation with the people around you, not only with the people, all kinds of beings around you, like these divine beings, or with the non-humans, like your animals, ghosts. If you want to create that kind of cordial relation, then you should understand the essence, the intention of Metta Sutta, and you should practice it, cultivate it. And with the fellow humans, with your family, in your environment, working environment, in your office, or wherever you are working, in your business, in your friend circle, with your subordinates, with your seniors, in all aspects. So this metta will help. This chanting of metta, cultivating the mind with this metta will help. So here the meaning of this is, like, say, in the first few stanzas in these verses, Buddha talks about it's a karaniya, it has to be practiced. What has to be practiced? This metta has to be practiced. So to practice this metta, one has to work on his one's own personality also. So for that, one has to work on truthfulness, straightforwardness, humbleness, mudu anatimani, softness and humbleness. Atimani means like arrogance. Anatimani means humbleness. One should be humble. One should be soft. Mudu. One should be straightforward. One should be truthful. So all these things, as I was telling you, your change in your attitude will influence your loving kindness, because you are actually feeling everyone as you only. You are keeping yourself in each and everyone's position. I don't want to be, say, cheated. I don't want to be, say, bluffed by someone. That's why I don't want to bluff anybody. So that's why truthfulness is important. I don't want to be crooked. I don't want anybody to become crooked or cunning with me. So in the same way, I don't want to become crooked with any other person. So that's what is called suju, straightforwardness. So in that way, if you start keeping yourself in others' position and keep cultivating your qualities, then automatically your metta will, your loving kindness will start percolating into your being, into the core, and automatically you start appreciating, you start loving, you start caring, you start, say, ignoring the mistakes of others. Forgiveness is a very, very powerful expression of your loving kindness. If you love somebody, if you have true loving kindness towards someone, then you don't keep their mistakes, say, in your heart. You don't take it very seriously. You just reprimand it. You just try to correct it, and you just immediately you ignore it. You just forgive it. Forgiveness is the expression of your loving kindness. So, in that way, Buddha is explaining about the other supporting qualities that one should work on, one should cultivate, so that his loving kindness will develop. So, in a few stanzas, that's what he is explaining. And he should have that self-content, santusako, and he should be easily taken care of. His desires are minimal. He is not very ambitious. Such a person will definitely become a metta person, a person with loving kindness. His requirements, his desires are quite minimal. Of course, you can have a lot of wealth, you can achieve all worldly things, but still in your mind, your attachments, your requirements, they are quite minimal. You don't look for, say, hoarding a lot of materialistic wealth with a lot of ambition, with a lot of attachment. Your profession, if you start getting it, it's okay. In your commitment, in your responsibility, you start getting it. So, but in your mind, you don't have a lot of attachment to worldly possessions, and you can be easily say taken care of. Your requirements can be easily taken care of. So that should be the nature of a person who is cultivating this loving kindness. So that is Subarocha. Then Appakichocha. One should not be over busy in the world, whether it is a spiritual person or a lay person. Too much busyness also, it will disturb your mind, it will imbalance your mind. And such a person also can't cultivate loving kindness. You should be, of course, you should not be lazy. You should be sufficiently busy in the worldly life, but it should not be over busy. You should not become over busy in the worldly activities. So in that way, Buddha is explaining the different qualities that one should cultivate so that his loving kindness will increase. He can become a powerful metta person. And in that way, if you are cultivating these qualities, then what happens? Automatically, your heart will open up. Your heart will definitely say in all situations that empathy will start. You will start looking the other person from your angle. So he is like that. If I were in his place, what would have happened to me? How would I would have behaved? So now he's behaving like this. So I forgive him, or I rectify him, I reprimand him. In that way, that empathy is again one of the factors, one of the expressions of loving kindness. Just like forgiveness is one of the expressions of loving kindness, empathy is the other factor of loving kindness. That's what is being highlighted here in these way, a few stanzas. And then in that way, that empathy and forgiveness, if you keep on cultivating, by cultivating this kind of simplicity, this kind of say straightforwardness, truthfulness. So then what happens? Then automatically your mind will start wishing happiness for all beings. Digava Mahantava, Tasava Thavarava, Majjima Mahanta Dhiga. So whatever may be the size of the being, whatever may be the distance of the being from your place. So you just start expressing your loving kindness, all the beings which are near to me, which are far away from me, which are small, which are big, which are visible, which are not visible. That way, your love becomes more and more unconditional, and it becomes more and more universal. When you start developing this kind of personality traits, like straightforwardness, like truthfulness, like simplicity, like humbleness, all these personality traits, if you start developing, then automatically your heart starts opening up, and you start wishing happiness. You start developing forgiveness. You start developing empathy, and you start wishing happiness to all the beings which are near to you, which are far away from you, whether they're humans, whether they're non-humans, whether they're visible, whether they're not visible. So all kinds of things, all kinds of beings, because you just start say identifying yourself, empathizing yourself with all the life, whether it is human life, divine life, animal life, nearby life, far off life, visible life, invisible life, with all kinds of life. You start say relating yourself, empathizing yourself. So that is the beauty of working on your own personality traits. Will develop this kind of forgiveness, this kind of empathy, this kind of wish, this kind of let go, this kind of soft mind, humble mind, egoless mind, soft mind towards all the beings, all the life. Somebody was asking me last time, humanity and morality, they are actually interdependent. In the name of humanity, again, many people, they have not correctly understood humanity in a proper way. Humanity is this man, in human there is man. So relating yourself with the mind of the other beings, that empathy should be there for a human being. Then only he is a human. Simply for the sake of namesake, simply for the sake of some blind versions of humanity, people, they are forgetting morality. But here you can understand, if you develop these moral aspects like truthfulness, like humbleness, like softness, like straightforwardness, like non-violence. These things, if you keep practicing, then automatically your humanity value, your human value, your value as a human being, it will increase. That is the way to become more human. So all humans are, so you can't help, you can't start, you can't say help each and every human being in this world simply with in the name of humanity. First thing is work on your own mind, make your mind straightforward, pure, truthful, humble. Then automatically all these human values will start arising from your inner being. That way you should develop humanity. By cultivating these moral aspects, cultivating your mind, cultivating this man, only you can become human. Humanity comes from, say, this cultivating your own mind. So morality leads to humanity. So that is one royal approach. If you want to become more and more human, don't ignore the moral aspects. The mind cultivating aspects don't ignore. Because many people in the name of humanity, again, they are trying to disturb the balance. Some people, of course, they are doing some good work in the name of humanity, but the authoritative approach to become more human, to develop this humanity, is to become more moral, develop this morality, develop your own mind. In the human itself, that man is there. So in that way, humanity and morality are connected. So if they are connected, if you are working on that, then automatically, naturally, authoritatively, we will become spiritual also. After all, what is spirituality? Many people, they were asking me. Spirituality, it's not like developing your, say, trying to connect yourself with your God. So in that way, in that process, maybe to some extent, for some people, it may work, and they may develop some moral values, they may develop their mind, they may become more human. That may be possible, but there is a danger also. There is an equal danger from that approach that I was telling you in the beginning of this talk. In the name of religion, in the name of spirituality, in the name of faith, people they behave like say animals, ferocious animals, even worse than animals. The animals, the ferocious animals like tiger and lion, they kill, they indulge in violence when they are hungry or something like that, or to protect themselves. But the humans, in the name of faith, in the name of religion, in the name of God, they blindly, very foolishly, they kill people, they kill others in the name of belief, the name of faith. That kind of blind humanity, blind religion, blind spirituality should be avoided. So if you bring in the morality, if you bring in the moral aspects, developing your own mind into this humanity and spirituality, then it becomes a holistic approach. That is an authoritative approach to become human, an authoritative approach to become spiritual. What is that? Work on your own mind, develop these moral qualities, then it will supplement, then it will lead to humanity. It is the basic necessity, it is the foundation, it is the precondition to become human, to become spiritual. Spirituality and humanity is dependent on morality and mind-centeredness and developing your mind. That's what is the point that I wanted to highlight here. In that way, Buddha is highlighting in this Karaniya Metta Sutta about the importance of working on your mind to some extent to develop this loving kindness, this metta. Then again, Buddha says automatically, then again your mind will develop. Dittava yava adittava matlab. What does it mean? The beings which are seen, which are not seen, and then dure vasanti, avidure, which are living, which are staying near to me or staying very far away from me. So for all such kind of bhuta, already born beings, bhuta means already born beings, sambhavesi matlab, so which are going to take birth, So that kind of being, so all kinds of beings be happy. That kind of a natural feeling will start oozing out from your heart when you work on your own perfection, your own straightforwardness, your own truthfulness, your own humbleness, your own empathy, your own forgiveness. On these things, if you work on, then this kind of natural feeling towards all the life, all the beings, let them be happy, let them be protected, let them be safe. That kind of feelings will start arising in your heart and mind. Let all the beings be free from all kinds of suffering. So all that kind of beautiful feelings will start emerging from your heart and mind. And again, Buddha gives one simile here. Matayata niyang puttan ayusa eka puttam anugakke. What does it mean? Just like a mother, if she has only one son, how much care she takes to protect him, safeguard him, feed him, care him. She's ready to die for him, for his safety. The same way, so if you work on your mind and developing these things, forgiveness and all this empathy and all these beautiful feelings start oozing out from your being, then you will become like this parent, just like a mother who used to take care of her only son. So you start taking care of the beings, just like a parent with having only one son. So each and every being will become your own daughter or son. So that kind of maturity, that kind of concern, that kind of loving kindness you start getting. That's what Buddha also did in all his previous lives. So in one circumstance, in one occasion, Buddha says, should be in a position to die even for the sake of one ant. So that much of goodwill, that much of benevolence you should have towards the beings around you, and it's how to develop it. So I am so selfish, I am so self-centered. So how to develop this? When you understand the happiness in that kind of feeling, and you understand the freedom in that kind of feeling, and you understand that how you will be detached from this possessiveness of your body, of your attached, of your physical possessions. You're so much attached to your physical possessions and your body, so then you can't think of say caring other person. Even you can't spare even one food grain with one animal or with other human being. When you are simply interested only in the materialistic growth, materialistic happiness. But once you start understanding about the spiritual happiness or the mental happiness, by giving up this attachment, by giving up these desires, cravings, how the freedom you can achieve, with that freedom, how you can experience the inner joy, inner peace, inner happiness, the superior happiness. If these things, if you realize, then automatically giving becomes easy, caring becomes easy, serving becomes easy, giving up becomes easy. So that kind of discretion also you start developing. And based on that discretion only, your loving kindness becomes more and more strong. And your letting go becomes more and more strong. Your freedom becomes more and more powerful. Your wisdom becomes more and more powerful. In that way, so by developing your mind, by working on some of the qualities of the mind, how the heart will open up, how the understanding of the superior happiness over the petty physical or materialistic or sensual happiness, how petty it is, how menial it is, those things if you understand, then automatically your loving kindness becomes more powerful, more strong, more universal. So in that way, Buddha is explaining about the loving kindness in these different verses, this Karaniya Metta Sutta. So if you cultivate this, as I was telling you, 11 benefits you are going to accrue, you are going to develop, like so your physical health, mental health, and then your protection. You will be protected from animals, divine beings, even with these four elements, imbalance in these four elements from within or from without. There is imbalance in these four elements that can be avoided, that can be, say, balanced with your loving kindness, and your other intellectual skills, mental skills will be developed. And at the time of death, also you can die peacefully. Your appearance will become more bright, and then you will get a superior next life. The coming life will be a superior life if you die peacefully with this loving kindness. All these things Buddha explains in this Metta Sutta and Mettani Samsa Sutta. So that's about this metta, the importance, the greatness, the significance of metta, loving kindness, and how this mitta, the friendship, the true qualities of a friend, a good friend, how to develop it, and how to work on it, and how it will support this metta mind. Those things also we'll see for a couple of minutes. So Buddha has given so many discourses on becoming a good friend or finding out a good friend. So what are those different discourses? There are 5-6 discourses about this good qualities of a friend. So in the first discourse about this mitta, the first discourse on this friendliness, the first discourse on this friendliness I will tell you later. The second discourse, there is Dutiya Mitta Sutta. It's in Anguttara Nikaya. First Mitta Sutta is in Samyutta Nikaya. So in this second Mitta Sutta, second discourse on the friendship. So that we will see, and then we will go to the first discourse on the friendship, which is in the Samyutta Nikaya. So in this Anguttara Nikaya, so all these Nikayas, they are the teachings of Buddha. They're compiled in the form of texts, different texts, and those texts are called Nikayas. So there are 5 Nikayas. So one of them is Anguttara Nikaya, the other one is Samyutta Nikaya. So in these Nikayas, these discourses on this friendship are compiled. So, so in this second Mitta Sutta, Dutiya Mitta Sutta, Buddha talks about 7 qualities of a good friend. So if you want to become a good friend, or if you want to find out a good friend, you should look for these 7 qualities. So what are these 7 qualities? So Buddha says, mendicants, when a friend has 7 qualities, you should associate with, accompany and attend them, even if they send you away, even if they ask you to go away from you, but you should not leave them if they possess these 7 qualities. That's what the spiritual teachers like Buddha also they did. Sometimes if they are not happy with their disciples, they simply ask them to leave. But the good disciples, they won't leave. They request, they apologize, they try to be with the master because they understood these 7 qualities of the master. The same thing with a good friend. If you can see these 7 qualities, then you should not leave their company, whether he is a friend, a worldly friend, or a spiritual friend, or the parents. Who just look for these 7 qualities. That's what Buddha is suggesting. What 7? They are likable, agreeable, respected, and admired. They admonish you and they accept admonishment. They speak on deep matters and they don't urge you to do bad things. When a friend has these 7 qualities, you should associate with, accompany, and attend them, even if they send you away. What are these 7 qualities? It's a little explanation we will see. They are lovable, that pleasantness, that softness leads to lovableness. No, they are not rigid, long-faced, resisting. That kind of qualities are there. Then he can't become a good friend. They should be pleasant. They should be soft. They should be pliable. They should be, the pleasantness should be expressed in their face also. It should not be a long face, rigid face. That kind of lovableness is also one of the qualities of a good friend. And respected. He should respect you, and when you see him, you feel like respecting. So that is again the quality of a good friend, and admired. And he admires the positive things, whatever you have, and you feel like admiring the positive things that he has. So that kind of quality, a good friend, you should look for in a good friend. And admonishers who accepts admonishment. Again, you see, in many spiritual teachers, they don't want to be admonished by their close disciples. Only they admonish, or only they shout sometimes. But here, a good friend, he is open to admonishment. He is open to corrections. And also, when there is a need, he admonishes you, he tries to correct you. This is very, very, very important. In a very good relation, in a friendly relation, this kind of movement should be there. This kind of flow should be there. What is that? When there is a mistake from my side, I should be open to be corrected from my friend. And when my friend does some mistake, I should be in a position to correct him, express my displeasure with that particular behavior of the friend. So that kind of freeness is there, then you can appreciate that friendship. If there is some rigidity, there is when they close for your admonishment, for your reprimanding, then you can consider him as a bad friend or not a good friend. So that is what Buddha talks about here. This is the point that I want to highlight here. And last point Buddha talks about is speaks on deep matters. So whatever worldly friendship is there, association is there. So let us say they talk about business, they talk about profession, they talk about their worldly goals. But quite often, they discuss about some deep matters, some spiritual matters. Talks about liberation of the mind, talks about developing the mind. Some deep matters also they should be in a position to discuss. Then you can consider him as a spiritual friend, good friend. Some always superficial things. They will not build that bondage. They will not build that true friendship. After all these things are ephemeral. They are transitory. They are changing nature, worldly things. Beyond this, if your discussion goes little deep, then you can expect a deeper friendship, a true friendship, which you can call it a spiritual friendship also. Spirituality always it's little deep. It's deeper than the materiality. It's deeper than your worldliness. So in your conversation, your interaction, in the transaction, there should be a discussion about the deeper things also. Then you can expect such a friendship will be more long-lasting, more powerful, more cordial, more pleasant, and that leads to the good friendship. And of course, in no way he urges you to involve in the unwholesome things, the unholy things, the bad things. That is again one of the qualities of a good friend. So in that way, Buddha talks about these 7 qualities in one sutta. And in another sutta, again he talks about 7 qualities which are more simple. And about a good friend, he says, a good friend gives which is hard to give. A good friend gives which is hard to give. So a good friend always has that liberality, the generosity towards his friend. So generally other people whom they find it very difficult to give, but a good friend, he easily gives it. He won't feel that hardness in giving. A good friend gives which is hard to give. That is one aspect of a good friend that is explained in other set of 7 qualities of a good friend. Then Buddha again talks about a good friend does which is hard to do. For your sake, something has to be done. For example, say some work. So here in the first quality, Buddha is talking about giving, just the liberality, the generosity and liberality. It is difficult to give, but for a good friend, it is easy to give because he cares you. He has that loving kindness. He has that goodwill. He has that benevolence towards you. So he gives you without feeling that hardness. The same way, he can put forth his exertion, physical and mental exertion. It may be difficult for others, but for a good friend, he does it for you. Not only gives for you, he can does it for you. Just like I was telling you about these classes, encouraging your family members or friends or colleagues or people whom you know. Though it may be difficult to convince them, you do your best to convince them. That is what is hard to do, hard to give. So those things one who can do and give, then he is a good friend. That is the quality of a good friend. So that's what Buddha is talking about the quality of a. But see, he is not very calculating good friend. How much material things I will get. You will just see, though it is hard, I will give. Though it is hard to give, I give. Though it is hard to do, I do. Because it is beneficial to him. And that beneficial things, if he gets, I will also get that inner joy. So that's what is the wisdom of a good friend. That's why he is able, he can ready to give, he can ready to do whatever is hard to do. For a lazy person, for a selfish person, even a simple thing becomes a difficult thing for him. Such a person, they will not become good friends. Forget about become good friends. They can't progress in the life at all. They can't achieve anything. They can't penetrate into the true happiness. Forget about true happiness. Even worldly happiness also such people won't get. That way, cultivating the qualities of a good friend, very, very important, even for worldly happiness and for the spiritual happiness, for the worldly success, for the spiritual success. In addition to developing this true loving kindness, metta. So the metta qualities will definitely make you a metta-minded person. Then Buddha talks about very, very, very important again. Like he won't keep any secrets. If he has some secrets, he will disclose those secrets with you. Then you can trust him. He is a good friend. If a person is keeping secrets, then you can't trust him. Then you can't consider him as a good. You can trust him in a few things, but you can't trust him as a good friend if he is maintaining some secrets. That is very, very important parameter, quality that you can definitely look for. And more than that, another important parameter that you can look for in a good friend is he will not disclose your secrets with any other person. You might have disclosed your secrets with him, but he will maintain those secrets within himself. Because your respect you, so your trust, your safety is very important. Your trust, your safety is important. So he will not disclose your weaknesses, your secrets with other people. That is also important quality of a good friend. So these things you should remember. So one should be ready for admonishment, ready for reprimanding, and one who reprimands when you do some mistakes. These two things you keep in your mind about the qualities of a good friend. And then he won't disclose your weaknesses or your secrets, whatever you have already disclosed to him with other people, he will not disclose, he will not open it up. He will maintain the secret. The person who maintains your secrets, maintains your whatever secrets that you have opened up, then you can trust him as a good friend. And then the other thing is he opens up his secrets to you. He will not try to become a hypocrite, or he won't cover his secrets, his weaknesses. He just opens it up. So you can trust such a person as a good friend. So these things you should remember. So hard to do things he will do for your sake. Hard to give, he can give for your sake. And in addition to that, he will disclose his secrets, he will keep your secrets. He will disclose his secrets, he will keep your secret. He admonishes you when you do some mistakes, and he accepts your admonishment when he does mistakes. So these things, if you see, then you can consider him as a good friend. So in that way, you can remember the qualities of a good friend. And if you cultivate these qualities with any person whom you trust, then your true friendship value, true friendship qualities will increase, and you will become a true friend to more and more people. That's what Buddha did. So he became a true friend by cultivating these things. He could sacrifice his life for the sake of the people who trusted him, animals who trusted him, which is very hard to give. He could do wonderful things for the sake of people who trusted him. That's why he became a good friend. And he used to admonish his people, his friends, and he used to accept the admonishments from his people. And he used to open up all the secrets, nothing to hide, especially with the people whom he trusted. In all his previous lives also, when he was Buddha, that life also, the last life also. And of course, the same thing was followed by all the followers of Buddha. So in that way, if you cultivate these qualities, then automatically you will become a noble friend, good friend, a Kalyana Mitta. And the same qualities you should encourage in other people also, and make them good friends, noble friends. And if you are into this business of becoming good friend and making others good friends, then automatically your loving kindness, your metta becomes stronger and stronger. So that is the relation between metta and mitta. Your good friendship and your loving kindness. In that way, they are related. That is what is Maitri in all Indian languages. You can call both these words, metta and mitta. They are related to this word Maitri. Maitri means what? Friendship. A person with loving kindness, he has a lot of friendship, friendliness, a feeling of friendliness with all beings, unconditional loving kindness he develops. And once he develops, of course, this kind of loving kindness, he can develop his mind very, very authoritatively. All the faculties of mind he can develop easily. Or if a person works on these 7 qualities of a good friend, then automatically his loving kindness also will increase. His unconditional loving kindness also will increase. That is the power of true friendship. So where can you see this true friendship? You can see this true friendship with your spiritual mentors. A true spiritual mentor will possess these 7 qualities of a good friend. Will give which is hard to give, and you feel like giving which is hard to give to him, and he will do which is hard to do, and you feel like doing which is hard to do for his sake, for him. And he is likable, admirable, respectable. All these 3 things you can call it as one quality. Okay, and then these are the 3, and the remaining 4 is he will open up his secrets to you, and he encourages you to open up your secrets, and he keeps your secrets within himself. So these are the 2, and the next one is admonishment. He is open to admonishment and reprimanding for his mistakes, and he reprimands, he admonishes you, and he tries to correct you when you are into some bad things, or when you are doing some mistakes. So these are 7 qualities of a good friend. These things also will develop your Maitri, qualities of a Maitri. That's how you can develop your metta also, your loving kindness also. That way, metta and mitta, they are related. They are interrelated. If you cultivate one of them, the other thing will develop. So, we cultivate, of course, both these things, then automatically other faculties of the mind also can be cultivated. So that is about today's talk on metta and mitta. Okay. So if you have questions, you can ask, and then we'll conclude. So as I told you, this Brahma Vihara workshop is there For those who already completed level 1, level 2, this level 1 program is there next week. Just to work on this, all coordinators, all our meditators, all our say the amount of participants. So all of you work on this. As I told you, this is the best opportunity for you to develop these qualities of the Mitta, qualities of a good friend. This is the best opportunity that I can suggest you. Work on this and develop your mind, develop the punya, develop the parmis. This is the way to develop the punya and parmis also. Okay, now there are some questions. And sometime back, somebody was asking about whether the right view is constant. That's an important question. Very important question. That also I'll just answer. Then I will look into these other questions. So right view was the name of the organization. That is the trigger for all Buddha's teachings also. That is the first step in the Noble Eightfold Path. So understanding the Four Noble Truths itself is the right view. That's what Buddha says. The whole world is struggling for happiness, but understanding where is happiness, how to get happiness, where is suffering, how to keep away suffering, that kind of correct understanding itself is right view. And the path of moderation, middle path, mind-centeredness, all these things are right view. But simply knowing this intellectually is not sufficient. This is actually, it starts from just understanding, just listening these things, then start, say, analyzing these things, trying to comprehend these Four Noble Truths, this middle path, the moderation, the law of cause and effect, the universal characteristics. All these things you start comprehending, interpreting, then you are establishing right view. Then you start experiencing it when you start developing this tranquility, calmness of the mind, stilling of the mind, and start experiencing the insights. And it goes on, this understanding of the Four Noble Truths, it goes on till you become an Arahant, completely enlightened, supremely enlightened, even for Buddha. That's what happened to Buddha also. He could thoroughly comprehend, understand, investigate, internalize, experience thoroughly. When he became Supreme Buddha, that was the last knowledge that he obtained during his meditation under the Bodhi tree, when he became Supreme Buddha, Samma Sambuddha. The first watch of the night, he could see his previous lives, his mind in the previous lives, he could see. And in the second watch of the night, he could see other minds in their previous life and what they will going to become in the future. How this cause and effect it is working in other minds also, and how it has worked in my mind, that also he could see. The first watch of the night, in the second watch of the night, he could see how it is working in others' minds also, the law of cause and effect. And in the third watch of the night, he could correctly penetrate into the Four Noble Truths at 3 levels. Then he became Supreme Buddha. That means to say, this knowledge of Four Noble Truths is so profound. Until you become an Arahant or Supreme Buddha, a Buddha, this knowledge of Four Noble Truths keeps on developing, keeps on growing. It is not constant. Keeps growing. Not constant, it's changing, means like once you get right view, then you enter into wrong view. That is not the point. It also may happen when you're not thoroughly comprehending, without the support and the guidance of a Kalyana Mitta, the right teacher. The mind may wobble in wrong views and right views. But if you keep growing in these right views, keep experiencing, keep penetrating, comprehending, assimilating these right views, it is endless. It goes on till you become an Arahant or Supreme Buddha. Even our Samma Sambuddha also, he got the absolute knowledge of the Four Noble Truths and this right view when he became Supreme Buddha. Until then it goes. Of course, when the body is there, when he is possessing the body, until his death, the right view was there in his mind, and after his death, he enters into Nibbana. So the state of Nibbana and all, that you should not be bothered, because it is very, very far, maybe say quite far from us. Now we should understand till the stage of Nibbana, this right view is not constant, it keeps growing, it keeps, say, penetrating into your psyche, or profoundly it starts entering into your understanding, and you start experiencing the Four Noble Truths authoritatively when you become an Arahant. So this much you can understand about the constant nature or the transient nature of knowledge of right view. So in that way, keep working in penetrating into this right view, not being bothered much about so whether I have achieved ultimate knowledge of right view. No. Now all these things are helping you to intellectually understanding the right view. Once you go through the practical experience, jhanas, insight knowledges, then you start experiencing the right view, experiencing the Four Noble Truths. Then once you become an Arahant, then your understanding and mastery of right view becomes full, it will become complete. Until then, so your duty is to work on both intellectually and experientially on these different aspects of right view. Okay, that is about that question whether right view is constant. Now coming to the questions here. Vandami Banteji as Namakanda, Saranicha and Anatta, and how will they pass on to next? Namakandas are Anicca and Anatta. Who told you? Namakandas are your four mental aggregates. Your Vijnana Kanda, your Sanya Kanda, your Vedana Kanda, and your Sankara Kanda. These are the Namakandas. The four Namakandas. The mental aggregates. They are not permanent. They keep always changing. Your consciousness keeps changing. Moment to moment, different kinds of consciousness are arising and perishing away. Your sankaras, your reacting mind, moment to moment it is changing. Your vedana, your feelings, moment to moment it is changing. Your sanya, your perceptions, moment to moment it is changing. So they are changing. But anischa and anatta, that is the knowledge, that is the wisdom. The wisdom of impermanence is the knowledge. The wisdom of non-self, that is the wisdom. Wisdom, the pure wisdom, this panya, wisdom, it is again just like the knowledge of this right view, as I was telling you about whether it is constant. It should keep developing this panya. It again, the panya, it is a part of panindriya, it's a part of your sankara kanda. You should keep on developing it. It will also wobble, it will also keep changing. But if you keep on developing, keep growing in this knowledge of anicca, knowledge of anatta, knowledge of dukkha, knowledge of asubha, it all comes under this right view only. So if you keep growing this panya, keep developing this panindriya, okay, then you will move towards liberation, move towards unfolding, move towards unwinding. That means like you move towards liberation. So in that knowledge, in that panya only, one should focus and keep working on that. Many times it will also change. And if you don't have a proper guide, again, proper control, proper say the person or the teachings, it will not guide you in the proper direction. Then again, that knowledge will keep wobbling. Even in penetrating into the deeper and deeper panya also, you can experience some change. Yesterday, the panya that I had, today I developed a little deeper. There is difference in yesterday's panya and today's panya. In yesterday's knowledge of anicca, knowledge of anatta, in today's knowledge of anicca and today's knowledge of anatta, there is a change that you can experience. In that sense, even the panya changes. But the change is for good. In other changes, the change is for good or it may not be for good. But here in the spiritual path, if you are authoritatively growing, the change in the panya, it is for good. So let it happen. Let that change happen. Just allow yourself for that change. Don't hold on to whatever I know. I know everything. I have tremendous panya in that way. If you hold on to whatever you have, whatever knowledge you have, panya you have, then you don't grow. Because this panya is not changing. This knowledge of anicca is not changing. I have this knowledge of anicca and I have this panya. I have got that permanent knowledge. If you develop that kind of ego, that kind of attachment to whatever you are possessing, that intellectual thing, then you don't progress. You can't experience it. You can't develop that experiential wisdom. That's why I always encourage many of my meditators in our path also. After understanding right view, different concepts of right view, many meditations, many techniques in level 1, level 2, level 3, they think that they know everything. They are thoroughly established in right view. No, they are not. They are thoroughly established in this knowledge of anicca, dukkha. They are thoroughly established in this knowledge of four noble truths. In that way, they conclude. That is very dangerous. I told you, it should percolate into each and every particle of your being. That is what is experiential wisdom. You should experience anicca in your body, in each and every particle. You should see the attakalapas. And then the liberation comes. If you simply intellectually know the anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and intellectually know the different aspects of right view, then your knowing is not complete. It should percolate into your experience through jhana, through these tranquility meditations, by getting jhanas, then getting insights, the different 16 insight knowledges. When you percolate into this experiential knowledge, experiential wisdom, and experience this, see this, face this, encounter these different knowledges in your meditation, in your observation, in your mental sharpness, mental awareness, and that has liberated you thoroughly, then you have understood right view completely. Then you have understood anicca, dukkha, anatta completely. Until then, you should focus on the path only. Until then, you should understand all these things are changing. Until then, you should not stop by having any conclusion that I have got it, I know it. Many of our close coordinators also I have observed, they have developed this kind of conclusion. That's very wrong. Until and unless you experience it in each and every meditation, each and every cell of your body, each and every particle of your body, each and every mental component, you thoroughly experienced it, you have encountered it, all these knowledges. Until then, you should not stop. Simply intellectually knowing is not the real knowledge. Rather, sometimes, as I used to say, it will become an obstacle, it will become a hindrance. I know is a big hindrance. I have experienced. That's from there actually the wisdom starts. Simply I know, it becomes a hindrance for your wisdom. But knowing should change into experiencing. Then the wisdom starts. Then all the benefits of confidence, all the benefits of calmness, peace, inner peace, liberation, freedom, all the experiences, all those benefits you start experiencing, if and only if you have seen it. Simply knowing will not liberate you. Practically, experientially, seeing it only will liberate you. Vandami Banteji has, same question is repeated. Yeah, that is the answer to your question. Okay, so I think that is about question and answer. So now we will conclude with one small chant. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata सब बुद्धानुभावेन सब धम्मानुभावेन सब संघानुभावेन सदा सोत्ती भवन्तु ते सुखी भवेयं निदुःखो अहं विया इदा च मे सुखी होन्तु मज्जता च तवेदिनो इमां हि गम्मन्ते धम्मे सत्ता होन्तु सुखी सदा अतो परञ्चारज्येषु चक्रवालेषु जन्तनो साधु 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 सुखी होन्तु मंगल।